Hey guys, I'm excited to share with you this week something that I actually left out from my last podcast episode. And that became apparent to me this week in my work with my clients that my last podcast episode was about differentiation. And what I left out was how we need to give ourselves the approval that our inner child needs from us in order for us to successfully differentiate from our parents. Because if we do not do that, our inner child will still be desperately seeking the recognition and the approval of our parents, and we will never be able to completely be free from them. So, I want to lead you listeners today in a very simple and practical exercise to cut the very last cord that enmeshes us with our parents and enmeshes us with other people, like other authority figures, like a boss or teachers. It also causes us to be enmeshed with like our partner, because we are still feeling compelled to prove ourselves and prove ourselves to all these people. So this is a powerful exercise. I left it out and I apologize for that, but maybe it just needed to be its own episode. So let's go ahead and I'll walk you through that today. I will do it for myself and lead you as a model. So I will picture little Bronwyn at maybe 7 years old, and she just did some artwork and she is super excited to share the artwork with her parents. And so I picture her, I close my eyes, I see her, I enter that memory, and I go to her and I get down on her level and I look her in the eyes and I say to her, little Bronwyn, I see how excited you are about the pictures that you just drew and how much you want to share them with your parents. And I don't blame you. However, I need to let you know that they are not trustworthy sources to recognize your goodness. They can't be the consistent mirror that you are seeking that gives you a true reflection of your worth. But I am. I'm that mirror because that is my job. And I'm sorry that I have really failed you. I'm sorry that I have not been that good mirror for you that gives you a true reflection of your preciousness. I had no idea how much you needed me. I had no idea how much I was failing you. But now my eyes are open and I am ready to be that mirror. And I see you, little Bronwyn. I see your goodness. I see all of you. I see the good, bad, and the ugly. But what I see is a net good. You won my approval, actually, before you could do a single thing. You won it on the day you were born. Because what won my heart was your heart. And your heart has never changed. It is good. What won my love is you, the real you, not what you do or say. And you will never lose my love, my acceptance, my approval. Nothing you ever say or ever do could ever add to it or detract from it. It is solid and it's here to stay. And now, little Bronwyn, because you've got me, the audience of one, you've got my approval and I'm not going anywhere. And now that you have me, you are free. You are free to be true to you. You are free to disappoint the hell out of everyone else in order to be true to you. So, something like that is life-giving, you guys. I cannot even tell you what that does for my clients and what it's done for me. We need to give ourselves that approval so we're no longer seeking it and compelled to prove ourselves to ourselves. So it gives us freedom. So I really encourage you to do that. if you are taking on the journey of differentiation from your parents and integrating with yourself. So, along those lines, I want to share some other practical information today about how to be your own therapist. So, I recently had a client ask me how she could prevent her anxiety from returning between our sessions. And she was also having some somatic symptoms as well. And so, when I responded to her, it actually occurred to me how simple and straightforward it actually is to do this for ourselves. And if we do this for ourselves consistently, we're probably not going to need much therapy, if any. So, what I shared with her is that all of our mental and somatic symptoms, such as our bodily pain, insomnia, migraines or headaches, vertigo, digestive issues, depression and anxiety, all of these things, for the most part, are defense mechanisms. And what do defense mechanisms do? They defend against painful feelings. That's what they do. They're all there to keep us from feeling our feelings because those feelings are too painful. But they're only too painful to feel when we feel them in isolation. So remember that what's shareable is bearable. When we feel them in isolation, they are overwhelming, and all those defense mechanisms will come into play to protect us from them. But when we share those feelings with another person or with ourself, with our inner child, they're bearable and we can feel them. And those defense mechanisms are no longer necessary. So we no longer have those somatic symptoms or the depression or the anxiety. So a lot of the times those feelings are very concealed from us. They're not apparent to us in our minds. They're actually often old, familiar feelings that we had as a child that are being triggered in the present, but they're really hidden from our awareness. So they don't make sense intellectually. I'll have a lot of clients say, well, it can't be this feeling because that doesn't make sense. Maybe it doesn't make sense to us in the present. Intellectually, we know better, but it does make a lot of sense because if our inner child felt that same feeling chronically or often, and it's being triggered in the present, it makes a lot of sense. So maybe adult Bronwyn doesn't feel guilty for accomplishing something good, but little Bronwyn might feel guilty because she was conditioned by her mom to feel guilty when she was successful and independent because mom was so miserable all the time. And her mom wanted her to share that misery. Maybe adult Bronwyn doesn't feel rejected when she doesn't hear back from someone for a long time because adult Bronwyn knows that person's like legitimately busy. But little Bronwyn does feel rejected because she felt rejected all the time by her mother. So I had my client pull up the soul words list, and I've talked a lot about that list here on my podcast. So the soul words list, if you Google soul, SOUL, words list, you can download a PDF of it. It is an excellent, excellent tool. It has about 80 words that are feeling words on it. By the way, do not download it from the source online that says focus on the family. That one has removed some really important feelings that they, I guess, deem as not good feelings to have. So don't download that particular option. But once you download it, you'll see there's like all these feeling words, and it's really helpful if we don't really know what we're feeling because it helps us identify what we are feeling. So start with that and take some time to look over those feelings and then tell your inner child, you know what? Those are okay feelings to have. Those are valid. And it makes complete sense that you would feel them right now. And then ask yourself what you need when you feel these feelings, because our feelings are there to communicate to us what we need. So, for example, when little Bronwyn feels guilty for being successful, what she might need from me, adult Bronwyn, is she needs reassurance that it's okay to be happy at her success or her accomplishment, that she's not responsible for anyone else's feelings but hers. And it's wonderful to celebrate. And maybe she needs to be encouraged to feel angry and disgusted by her mom, who conditioned her to feel guilt for her success instead of happiness. And she also needs to be encouraged to feel disgusted with anyone else in her life presently who plays that same game with her, who also wants her not to celebrate her success. Maybe when little Bronwyn feels rejected because the person hasn't gotten back to her, maybe what she needs when she feels that way is to hear from adult Bronwyn, little Bronwyn, I know it feels like you don't matter right now when you don't hear back from this person. That makes complete sense. But I need you to know that you matter to me, that you are so important to me. And I am so pleased with you. You are so precious to me, and that will never change. So this requires us taking time out to pause and to reflect. And when we do that, we're prioritizing ourselves. We're prioritizing our feelings and our needs. And that, my friends, is the most powerful way to heal our relationship with our inner child, is to take time to reflect and validate her feelings and meet her needs. And that is going to cause us to integrate more and more. And as we do that, we become more whole, more complete, more consistent, more healed. And that, my friends, is the best way to bypass therapy altogether if we do that well. So I want to encourage you how powerful you are, not just someone else like a third party or a therapist, but you are so much more powerful than you even know. So thanks for listening today. If you find this episode helpful, please share it with a friend or two. Please give me a 5-star review and subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already. All right. Thank you, you guys.